right, all right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Forging Theories live stream where we talk about all things related to heroes and villains. Today, in our live, we are going to be talking about Black Adam. It is all about Black Adam on this live stream, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the new hope for the DCU, and its new leadership, of course. Gone are the days of the Snyderverse, for better or worse. For all of you numbers fans out there, here are some quick facts as of this live stream night, Sunday night, opening weekend, and we are talking about Rotten Tomatoes score 40%, critics score 90%, audience. IMDb, we are looking at a 7.1 out of 10, and Letterboxd 3 out of 5 stars. Not too bad, not too shabby for an opening weekend. As of a few hours ago, per the Rotten Tomatoes article that I saw, Black Adam opened with an estimated 67 million domestic. In comparison, Aquaman was at 67.8 million domestic. Some love this movie, some hated it, and others are somewhere in between, but with both sides bringing up valid arguments as to why they feel the way that they feel. So we're going to explore some major talking points from the movie, beginning with a synopsis of Black Adam. What is it about? So we have a nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed the almighty powers from the Egyptian gods, imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. So big time movie, big time stuff that's coming up. It was hyped, and today, here to talk about it, I have Harry and Mr. Jalapeno. How are you guys feeling? What's going on?
Great, man. We lost Mr. Jalapeno.
We lost him. No, he'll be back in, and we should have another regular joining with us, Fabian. So you guys should see some familiar faces here and hear some familiar voices as well. But listen, to kick us off, I need one word from you guys. Fill in the blank for me. Okay, we're going. Black Adam is blank. Harry, I'm going to start with you.
Sure. Black Adam is a backstory.
Oh, okay. Black Adam is a backstory. Mr. Jalapeno, how you doing, man?
You're muted, man.
Yeah, I think we got a flip-flop connection.
Nope, not doing it. Mm-mm.
1 minute.
Nothing.
Negative. Yeah, I'll have you fix it in 3. Well, I'm gonna give you. It's a backstory. I like that. You know what? I'm gonna go with Black Adam is short. Short. Meaning it falls short.
Okay.
In a lot of areas.
In what retrospect?
Well, we're going to get into it. We have a lot of things. Okay. We're going to be talking about the characters. We're going to be talking about the story. We're going to be talking about how it looked, the music, the soundtrack, the score. And we're going to dive into characters and then ultimately get to the piece de resistance, which is going to be that post-credit scene, which we talked about in our previous video, our live stream. Again, spoilers are going to be here. So if you guys are listening to this, whether live or recorded, we're definitely going to be throwing out a full review. We've all seen this movie. Everyone who's going to be jumping on today is definitely going to be talking, full thoughts on what we saw from this past weekend. And the nice thing is that this is fresh. Like, this is very fresh. We're talking about it opening weekend. So this is going to be a very, very good review with thoughts, in my opinion, here. Let's see if we got Mr. Jalapeno back. Can you hear us, sir?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me or no?
Yep.
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I don't have my mic. I'm trying to do it on my phone here, but
You sound good. Can you hear you?
So, in
Okay.
one word, man, what's Black Adam?
dude, for me it was just exhilarating. I mean, not much else I can say for that.
Okay. So I threw out short.
I heard that. I
I
heard
got
that.
exhilarating. And Harry, remind me again.
Backstory. It's a backstory.
Backstory. Okay. No, that's perfect. And to be honest with you, with those words, I want to know who your guys' biggest surprise character is from the Black Adam movie. No reason for why. Just we're gonna jump in the characters, but who is your biggest surprise, for better or worse?
I'll take it first. Can you guys still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, Dr. Fate, bro. Dude's a goat. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
I didn't expect to like Hawkman as much as I did.
Ooh.
Going into this movie, I expected to like Dr. Fate more than Hawkman, but which we'll get into that later. But yeah, Hawkman for sure.
I too am gonna go Hawkman on this one. Hawkman was a big surprise for me. I had some good expectations for Dr. Fate, but Hawkman definitely took me there. So the movie overall, and again, Fabian will be joining us here at some point. But again, today we're talking all about the Black Adam movie. And we're going to kick off here and kind of get into the pacing, the story, the continuity. What did this story tell you guys? What did they give us? What did you get from this movie? And what do you think overall of the story from beginning to end?
I'll take this first. I think there's a lot of haters for this movie, even with the opening weekend. The perception I have with this movie, like I said, it's a backstory for me. Ultimately, yes, Dwayne Johnson wants to do a origin story for Black Adam, but I think really and truly he wants to tell the story. He has more story he wants to tell for Black Adam. It's not just an origin story. He wants to tell. There's more to the story, not just the origin story. So it's just a backstory. I'm saying story awfully a lot. But there's going to be more to just the first Black Adam movie. And I think when they continue that story to Black Adam, I think at the end of the story, whether it's a sequel or trilogy, I think when they're done with it, that in itself will make the first Black Adam movie good.
Okay. Interesting. Listen, for me, when I thought about this, it was like midnight last night. I'm laying in bed, and I know that we have this live stream coming up, and I'm like, man, what am I gonna talk about for the story? Like, there's so many things, and you see so many reviews, and there's a lot of different angles you can take this with. But the best way that I remember sitting in the theater, thinking at one point, I'm like, man, this kind of feels, and by no means is this a slap in the face. Don't take it this way, because I love this franchise. But it felt like a Power Rangers movie or show where you have like the red, the yellow, the black, like you have all the core colors that are there that show up every day. And then you have this one person over here that shows up, and that's like the White Ranger, the Gold Ranger, like that extra that comes in, and you're just like, man, like this would be a time that we need someone to do something to make it happen. And at times I felt almost like the story that was being told, although you go into the movie feeling it's a Black Adam story, origin story, there was a lot of screen time, and we got new characters, right? The JSA brought in some new characters: Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, Atom Smasher. We got those, but it almost felt like these two stories were running congruently as they were trying to say, hey, we're moving in a new direction, but we want to give you guys a lot. And it felt to me like it wasn't a lot to take in from a story standpoint, especially Black Adam or Teth Adam. I mean, it really wasn't Black Adam to me at all. It was a Teth Adam story. But the core, when I push all that away, it really came down to they were telling a story of what it means to be a hero. And is it a hero who no guns, no killing? Or is it the kind of hero that do whatever it takes to save the people at the end of the day? And when I push everything aside, that's the story that I sit at. I know it's an origin story for him and an origin story for the new DC, but I think they did a really good job of planting that seed of comic book movies or movies based on comics as the source material. There's going to be a hero. And at the end of the day, typically the heroes win.
Mm-hmm.
But what about that gray area? That's the story that I was really intrigued and interested in. At least with your Mr. Jalapeno, what'd you think?
No, I mean, I agree with everything you said. Well, maybe not the Power Rangers part. I wasn't a big Power Rangers guy, but I kind of get the reference. But I think, the first appearance we get of Black Adam coming out of the cave there, and he's just really there to try to establish dominance. Like, bro, your bullet, every weapon you have isn't going to touch me. And then the JSA come in and they're like, you're a weapon of mass destruction. We need to stop you. So they didn't even give this dude a chance. And I think part of the movie was the progression and character development of him saying like, hey, with great power does come great responsibility, and we can do this. And he was like, bro, who's going to stop me? Who's going to stop me? Like, if I want answers, I will drop this guy from 30,000 feet until he says something. Like, and if he dies, he dies. I'll go get the next person. And then I think the most pivotal part for me was when he did like suit down or depower himself, and he went off with Amanda Waller, and he was just like, you have to promise me I'll never say the word Shazam again, because I probably don't understand the responsibility I have.
Yeah.
And then that whole scene where he is talking to Dr. Fate, like mentally, that's like, okay, you know what? I can be a hero. I could do things the right way and still use these powers that I have, this curse for the better of humanity. And I think like the progression of that throughout the entire movie really, to me, was almost flawless. Like, he completely changed up from the opening scene to the final scene.
I was very surprised by that. But it made sense to me though. And going through and reading a bunch of these reviews, it's just another superhero, blah, 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 like, all right, okay. We'll get to the visual effects and the action and the bing, bang, boom. But to your point, for me, that pacing, it felt very quick, and it was just like, I'm here, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Okay, and they slowed down right there at that point that you were talking about, and the movie just completely shifted, and it was almost like a 180 for me. Is when they started getting into his backstory about his son being the hero. And he's like, I didn't ask for these powers. They didn't choose me. I'm not the guy. But in the end, I can be the guy because I see that there's a need for me. I can be someone's champion. I was a champion for my family. My family was taken from me. And I get the connection with, the kid and the wife. And some people are saying he's annoying and he's not in this. Like, first off, this is a side note. Was his wife back 5,000 years ago in Kondak the same actress as the one? Was it Sarah Sarahi, something like that?
I don't know, but I went to go see the movie with Garrett, and he told me that necklace was the same necklace that his wife wore, and I didn't catch that, or something along those lines. There's got to be some kind of connection there.
Yeah,
But I mean, they never referenced it, and honestly, it was kind of like a throwaway gag that I didn't really think that I needed that information for her to say, oh, I have this necklace, and it tied me back to that. I think that was just like a one-off scenario that kind of put her in the place of wanting to go find the tomb or the crown or whatever,
Yeah. It was, would I say it was the smoothest storyline? No, I wouldn't. However, I do think they definitely got across that strong point of, I was surprised by The Rock, and we're going to get into characters, but Harry, did you feel off anywhere? Like, like this just doesn't seem like it fit in the movie at any moment?
I feel like okay. So I said that this movie felt like a backstory. I didn't. I felt like the backstory of the backstory could have been a little bit better. Like it could have been told a little better. It just
Mhm.
felt weird to me. Um, it just maybe it was the fact that they didn't reveal that he wasn't the true quote unquote champion
Yeah.
until more towards the very end. Maybe that was it, but I just it didn't set well with me. But that was a surprise for me. Like you said, he didn't ask for these powers. His son was trying to save him, and then he quickly perished.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I don't know. One thing that I was really hoping for, or that really sucked, is the demise of Doctor Fate.
Mm. Save that piece because we're definitely going to dive into it.
Okay.
We just got another join. We have Fabian here. Fabian, what's going on?
Hello, gentlemen. You guys hear me?
We can perfectly.
All right, perfect. Yeah, sorry for the delay. Got a little tied up for work. What did I miss? Where are we at?
Nothing. You didn't miss anything. Not just kidding. We're just talking about the story and what it did for us. But I am curious because this will tie in before we jump in and we'll get your thoughts and we'll pull it back together. In one word, what was Black Adam to you?
Ooh, one word. Stylistic.
Ooh. Okay. And who was your biggest surprise character?
I ended up really liking Atom Smasher.
Mm.
I've heard some people say mixed things. Obviously, the other people are obvious, but Atom Smasher was a lot better than I thought he was going to be.
Okay.
Are you talking about Adam Smasher or Deadpool Smasher? Bro, I could not like the mask looked like legit, like copy paste.
I agree, but I guess if it works, humble response over there. If it works, make it, keep it working.
100%. We're gonna jump into each of the characters that are part of the JSA. But we just finished up our first piece of pacing, story, continuity. What did the story do for you? What kind of story did they tell? What did you pick up on, and how did you feel about it?
So the story overall, I like the overall idea that they were presenting. Where what is the idea of a hero? What is a hero meant to be, and how is that presented here? And they dive into it a little bit and repeatedly. Where are we supposed to kill? Where have you guys been for us, JSA? We've been under military order for years, and you guys are just now showing up just because there's a problem that you think is going to end up being a problem for you. That's basically all there is.
Mm.
As far as the overall story, I like the whole the character arc that a lot of these guys went through in finding some mutual ground in that theme. As far as the pacing, the beginning was a little rough for me. A lot of the background information, it was a little breakneck, but also kind of dragged at the same time. If you get my meaning, that beginning stuff where we were getting a lot of the background in I forget the name of the town. What was the name of the town? Or the
Conduct.
Conduct. Yeah. So all that stuff. The narration was going by very quickly, but it also felt like I wasn't getting a lot of information. The information was coming quickly.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious what you guys think of this. If I were to look at this movie and I were to say, they took Batman vs Superman concept of a team up of heroes, jammed in Man of Steel somewhere in there, and then also pulled in a Doctor Strange and Thor. Would that be fair to say that was kind of wrapped all in one in this movie? Point being, was it too much to that point in the beginning? Was it too much for fans or casual viewers watching this to grasp all the action and visuals aside?
I don't think so. I mean, this had here's a larger than life character, a weapon of mass destruction, causing murdering a bunch of people. It felt like a suicide or the first Suicide Squad movie in that sense. That there's a weapon of mass destruction movie or weapon of mass destruction, and there's a team going to fix the problem. So I don't think like Fabian said, he kind of agreed with me. The only thing that could have been too much was the backstory of Black Adam, of the actual character.
Yeah, tough part, I think, with a backstory piece is continuity and tying into Shazam. At least in my theater, it was kind of strange because I got Wakanda Forever trailer, and I was like, oh man, that hit me hard, and I just melted in my seat, and I'm like, I'm ready for that. And then 2 trailers later, it was Shazam, and then a trailer, and then the movie started. From a Shazam standpoint, how do we feel the connectivity and the continuity in terms of the story that they've told? We already got the Shazam Wizard in here. We saw another clip of him in Black Adam, and then kind of moving forward, he even had to use the word Shazam. So if I'm looking at this from the outside as a fan who's intrigued now, what would I even think? Where is this even going?
Well, and yeah, that's what I've been saying for about a month and a half, ever since they've released that they're going to announce this new 10-year plan. In my mindset, they have announced that they're going to come out with, obviously, they're going to come out with a Shazam 2 and an Aquaman 2. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this 10-year plan is going to come out, and that's great. I'm all for it. The more, the merrier. But what in their 10-year plan is canon to the former universe? Or what in the former universe is canon to the new 10-year plan?
Sure.
So, and if none of it is canon to the new 10-year plan, I'm like, okay, then what's the sense of it? Unless, they're just looking to make more money. Then there's that.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest question is bro, nobody's stopping Black Adam, G. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So even in the trailer, when you watch Shazam Fury of the Gods, which the hype from coming out of this movie, I feel like it really does Fury of the Gods so much less hype. Because first of all, he's going against these old beings, literally physically old. He's going up against this old lady. If he's gonna get tossed by her, you can't tell me that he's gonna take out The Rock. You know what I'm saying? But I really think the only way that you can try to connect both of these characters is, for instance, if they battle it out for the powers of Shazam. Only one of them can walk away maintaining the powers. Because I really don't know how a universe can have both of them coexist, not cross paths, and then make it make sense. I think whenever they do meet, the Grand Wizard Shazam or whoever the dude with the the gray hair, the one survivor, he's gonna say, "Look, Billy, you need to take him out because he is draining my entire life force. I can't give him and you powers at the same time. There's only gonna be one man standing." And then they battle it out, and whoever wins. So that's really the only way I can see that kind of going. But in terms of the 10-year plan, I kind of agree with Harry because we got Aquaman 2, we got Shazam 2, and The Flash. It's okay, where does this take place in that new 10-year plan? Is this referring to the previous 20-year plan that you made 3 movies out of? Or, what are they doing? And first of all, this 10-year plan, how many movies are we getting, bro? That's what I don't care about years. I care about numbers, bro.
Yeah.
Numbers don't lie. 10-year plan could be 2 movies.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on like what structure they want to do. Because right now their structure could be they're doing heroes and villain movies. I mean, if they're going to give Black Adam a movie, they got to give Deathstroke a movie. They got to give Lex Luthor his own solo film. They got to expand upon that because I mean, if you look at it, if The Rock was not Black Adam, if he had never been any part of this, there would be no reason for this movie to really exist because it would have just been Shazam 2 or 3, and there would have been some other person playing Black Adam, and it would have just been another comedic character for him to fight, or just a little bit more serious but still funny. And he would have been the next thing on the list for Shazam to overcome and create character development with. I mean, you could have still thrown in the JSA in there. I mean, you could have put Shazam with the JSA easily. The tone would have been a little bit different, and if anything, that would have added for more coherent continuity. But if they're gonna go this way, they got to stick with something. I'm all about them sticking with a plan now. Whether or not this is gonna get them critically acclaimed movies ever, or if they're gonna stick with the audience and just only pleasing the audience, it doesn't matter. Stick with something. If this is how they're gonna go, I want to see it go this way.
From the story that they told in The Rock in his post interviews, I mean, he's like, my feeds have been nothing but interviews on every single platform of Dwayne Johnson. And the common theme that I hear every single time is we're listening to the fans. We're listening to the fans. As a fan, what do you say? What do you want to see next from this story, from Black Adam specifically? Like, where do you want him to go next? And that'll lead us into our characters, Tough Adam, Black Adam. Where do we want to see him next?
Well, I think the fans have been screaming from the top of their lungs for a Henry Cavill return as Superman and a Man of Steel 2, which it's been rumored to happen. And I would hope that in Black Adam 2, I would hope that we get a face-off between them.
I mean, are we going to wait another decade for that to happen? Like, this movie took a long time. Not to say that they don't have a green light on next productions, but there's a lot of Jumanjis that have to be made between now and the next movie. So I don't know.
I'll believe that Man of Steel 2 is happening when my butt is in that seat in the theater and the lights go out. That's when I'm ready. That's when I'll be ready to accept that Man of Steel 2 exists. Because they can drop all the trailers they want for that Man of Steel 2, but it won't be happening until I'm in that seat. Because Flash is in limbo, Aquaman delayed. I don't trust those dates for those 2 movies. Even Shazam, it's got trailer, and I'm still sitting here wondering, is it going to release on that day? Will it?
If they release Shazam as is, based on what we saw in Black Adam, and obviously I have no clue what's going to be in that movie, but based on the first one, which personally I did not love, I don't think, like, just look at the 2 characters. I'm sorry, but if I go back and watch Shazam and Superman versus Black Adam, where I go through the comics and look at World War III, Black Adam, who's owning the entire DC universe, they cannot stand in the same frame. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Billy needs a lot more character development.
Billy needs a lot of work. So just for me hearing these things, we're talking 5 years at minimum. And that's saying they release Shazam, and we're not even talking about a Shazam 3 before we see, like, where does he fit in, unless you send him to HBO Max. But that, like, is that really going to happen? No. So, like, for me, I just can't see where this character fits in without a second movie and seeing where they go forward. Like, I know this is supposed to kick off and this is supposed to be really exciting for the DCU, but everything after this, though, is just like blank. Like, I can't even envision
the
next step, besides pulling in what was supposedly not canon anymore.
For me, it doesn't even feel like I know everyone keeps ringing like this, like saying the new era is ringing in, and really that's just more of the Henry Cavill stuff and
sure.
him being there. But like this just felt like another piece of the puzzle. This felt like another DC release, like the next one. Like this was always planned, and this was always going to come out anyways. So the only difference is new leadership in the background.
Elias, what do you got on this?
No, just kind of going along those lines that like I really think that this movie can be one of those self-contained where they didn't really mention anything prior in a universe, right? Like Amanda Waller, bro, last time we checked in Peacemaker, she was off of the count. She's no longer working with the Suicide Squad. How does she know the JSA? Why she got him on speed dial? And why can she call in favors from outside of the planet? Like, what kind of intergalactic cell phone she got over there? Let me get that monthly bill. What's that looking like? On top of that, like, it didn't seem like it fit in the overall DC EU. Like this, I said it's probably one of my favorite ones in the DCU, but it felt very just DC movie. Like this felt like a Robert Pattinson Batman, where they could reference what they want and they can leave off everything else they don't want. Like, they can pick and choose the baggage they want to bring along with it. And I think if they were to move forward from this point on, then they can establish a brand new universe. But as for The Flash, Aquaman 2, and then Shazam Fury of the Gods, bro, drop those to HBO Max and let's just do it that way. You know what I'm saying? At this point, what's there left to those, right? Let's say Flash is a banger, which as of right now, I don't know about that. But let's say Flash was a banger, then they'd be like, oh, okay, we got another Flash coming next. Well, how? How is that? Because that's part of the old timeline now. That's part of the old, management. Like, what's the direction that we're going to go in with these new movies that come out?
Let's jump into the visual. Let's take a step back to the visual effects. I think you brought up a good point, especially with Flash and like how they're making these movies and the feel. I'm curious of what you guys think of. How different did this feel from a Zack Snyder produced movie? How did it look to you guys? How did it feel? How was the sound?
Let me take this. I gotta take this one because
go for it.
This right here, this segment. Oh, wrong corner. Right there is like why I put this movie so high up there. Like in terms of enjoyment, bro, I loved the visuals. Like Dr. Fate's visuals were unreal, bro. First off, everybody's costume are like some of the crispest costumes of all time, I think. Like Hawkman's costume and the way his nth metal would turn into a shield, the mallet, the axe, like dude, the visuals are just on point. That being said, the one place where I think they flopped, or not even flopped, but the slow motion scene, they should have just done.
Which one?
The first one. The first one when he comes out of the jail, he tries to pull a Quicksilver.
Oh,
or not the jail when he comes out of the rock. They should have done.
Yeah.
They should have done the same song from X-Men Apocalypse. It's Sweet Dreams, and just run it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that I don't know if that one hit. Let's do this. Let's add a quick segment. Hit or miss. Throw out a scene that you guys liked or visuals that you guys liked, and let's see if did it hit or did it miss for you guys. For me, that one when he came out, I thought it was a really cool way to show how fast he is, and I almost wish that we got that in the Man of Steel movie just a little bit more to see. Like they went through and showed us, from his point of view of how it sounds if it were us when he acclimates, but seeing him, like we didn't see that speed display until Justice League when he smoked everybody and Flash is running and he was just like bam, like I see you. Like that
goated. Scene's still goated, one of my favorites of all time, but 100%. Go on.
100%. But I like when they play, like I think that was a really cool way to showcase like, oh man, that's his power. Like that is that this is who, like, they established that from the jump. This is who it is. This is who we're dealing with. So when you saw the rest of it, you just filled those blanks in. What other scenes did you guys like?
I loved the just all the scenes where Black Adam and Hawkman go at it. Just their enemy camaraderie. Hey, I kill, but Hawkman being the hero, he obviously doesn't. So just the sarcasm between Black Adam and Dr. Fate. So that was a hit for me.
Bro, I think for me the biggest hit was when we had that Hawkman Dr. Fate reveal. I was like, dang, he's dead too? And then he's like, he said, you didn't see that coming. And I was like, no way. And then you could see like they had the little eyes on the helmet.
Yeah.
Like it does in the comics. I was like, bro, it's a wrap. And then quick side note to that. Another one of my favorite scenes wasn't technically a visual, but it was when Dr. Fate told him that he's gonna die of electricity, and then he comes to the rescue. he's like, I'm not gonna die. I only die from electricity. I was like, bro, that's one of the most lit lines in that entire movie. The whole theater was just dying, bro.
Yeah. All 4 people were dying with me too.
All right, it wasn't sold out, but I had a couple rows in there,
To be fair, I went at 11 a.m. So nap time. What do you got to do? You got to do what you got to do. Baby, what do you think?
For me, the scenes with Hawkman and Black Adam going at it, that was on some DBZ level, like hand to hand combat, like just back to back trading blows.
Yeah.
I loved it. That's where like the style came in, and I really liked the way those scenes were shot. It looked clean. It you could follow along. There was not too much where they were too close up, but not too far away, like a wide angle. The way it was done, it was done in a very satisfying way, and it made Black Adam look like a boss.
100%. I think the scene for me that I know it was in the trailer and I've seen it 1,000 times, but when Atom Smasher like finally gets into the game and he grows and he's just chugging through the streets, dude, just seeing that like on the big screen and like just how smooth everything looked. I wish that we saw more of him. I wish I saw more of every character, to be honest with you. But I get why we didn't. But I really think that his just any of his movements while in costume, minus the Deadpool thing, I thought that 100% thought that. When I saw the white eyes, I was just like, I guess like it's a good mask, but it just like I just couldn't stop thinking about it. But I like Cyclone too. I know she pulled out the same move. Like she only had 2 moves in the moveset, but the arm wave and the twist. That's it. The arm wave and the twist.
She was on the first round of Justice. You know what I'm saying? Up, down, left, right. Up, down, left, right. But I will say,
spamming can win. Spamming can win.
Yep.
I will say for like an elemental effect, like something that we haven't really seen in like Marvel or anything really previously to this. I really like the way they did it, like with the the nanotech. I think it was for her too, and how like you could see the flow. You know what I'm saying? Because you're talking about wind, right? At the end of the day, wind can only do so much, and for them to like really showcase that with the special effects, I think they killed it.
Yeah, I'll give my MVP from a visual standpoint though. Black Adam's lightning looked cool. His movements were cool. Hogman, I think, looked amazing. His fights were dope. But Dr. Fate, oh my. MVP, Chef's Kiss, A+, Gold Star, whatever you want to give. I as soon as he busted out, like, let's not even mess around. Let's not even mess around. For everyone watching, let's just get to it. I'm gonna let y'all go first because I could talk about him for the next hour and a half.
I'm still looking for his Funko Pop.
Good luck,
bro. I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. It's a good one. It's a good one.
I've seen the Funko. It looks clean. Not in person, but that.
You got him, Greg?
No, it's the only one that I can't find around me. And there's a guy that I
Oh,
met
hold on,
too,
bro.
he's like, I'm on the lookout. I'm on the lookout. And I was like, we just don't have it down here. And I want to get him in person. I didn't want to order
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
but I don't have a choice. I got
Am
everyone
I
else.
the am I the only one that thinks that that actor with the Fu Manchu looks like Josh Brolin?
Ooh.
That's clean. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And I
cool,
mean,
man.
this doesn't even do it because like they really muted out his cape color, like the
Yeah.
actual suit.
Yeah.
It's not as blue and as rich as it is in the movie, but man, bro, his when he pulls up and like even when he just touched the bag and he takes the helmet off, he's like, "You have the crown of Sabak." I was like, "Bro, this guy's too cold."
His performance, even with the helmet on and off, it's fantastic. I mean, he is who he is. We all know him for years. He's got a resume up the wazoo. The role fit him like a glove. He was perfect.
Yeah.
Like there was no other way around it. Like he was the person to do it, and I'm glad they got him. I'm glad he was into it. He really looked like he was having fun in the role.
Oh, 100%. I thought of something you said on like 2 or 3 lives ago. No. I think it was we were messaging, right, off screen, and we were talking about like, did you ever think Benedict Cumberbatch, or was he the right cast for Doctor Strange or whatever it might have been?
Right.
Like, I had to think about that. But Doctor Fate, I didn't know who they would cast this in ever, knowing who the character was before. I knew that Pierce Brosnan was Doctor Fate, but crushed it. How smooth he would walk in and off screen. Like I was like, dude, keep changing costumes. And his voice, when he was suited up, 1,000 out of 10. 1,000 out of 10. I'm a sucker for the voice thing. If you have the right voice with the perfect costume, you could make 1,000 movies and just call it the Dr. Fate series, and I will show up every single time. No problem, no questions asked. By far one of my favorite characters that I have ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, when the first big one he did when Hawkman's like, "Hey, distract him from me," he just warped the whole area to look like Kahndaq, and Black Adam's just floating there, and then Hawkman comes through.
Yeah.
Boom, bro! The literal Falcon punch.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, that punch was decent, but the setup was that was like the perfect alley-oop, dude. And
so good.
Dr. Fate, I gotta see more, bro. Like I want a prequel or like a sequel if the helmet needs to have another I don't know, another body or another holder. I don't know what it is, but another champion, we'll say.
I like that. I would be down for that. Where does he rank kind of on your all-time, just for everybody, for your all-time DC characters you've seen in the movie?
Just on the movies?
Just on the movies.
I mean, visually speaking, he's up. He's already at number one for me. Like, that's not even like up to debate for me internally. Like, he visually looked insane. Like that was over the top and more than I could have ever asked for.
For sure.
And he looked fantastic. As far as like the development, we need a series. We need a movie.
Yep.
We need more. I want to see if it's possible the same actor or someone carry it on in the same vein with like the other actor maybe somehow in the afterlife giving him tips or talking to him through the helmet, something. Like it was a beautiful thing to witness. They gave the fans what they wanted in that department.
100%. Harry?
Yeah, now that we're on the subject, I was really, really sad to see the character die because I was really hoping we would get that spinoff or another movie or something like that. Yeah, man. I'm really hoping that we do start to get spinoffs, and I'm really hoping that we do start to get, the Green Lanterns and the characters that we haven't even heard of who heard, and I'm sorry to compare it to Marvel, but no one had even heard of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that DC can kind of, pull that string too and say, hey, no one's heard of this, but we're going to make it great. So, but Superman all day.
Listen, we're gonna get on that topic in a moment.
I'll say just real quick. I
Yeah.
think this movie kind of did that with the Guardians thing. I think it introduced a lot of characters that to us we're familiar with, but to the general public, I don't think a lot of people know who Black Adam,
True.
Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher. I barely even knew Cyclone. Like, I think they managed not to the biggest degree as the Guardians, but they're on the right track if they can keep doing what they did with this.
Elise, I'm gonna throw this out there for you. I know, we go way back on, the CW universe and side of things. For you, how does seeing a character like this portrayed in the way that they did kind of make that age? This is a side question, but I promise that it'll lead to something. When you see these types of shows, or you even look at like a Titans or Doom Patrol or anything along those lines, like the HBO Max and then old CW shows, like that's a lot of content that we got from DC. And then now we're saying that we have movies. I mean, let's count Peacemaker. In the new era moving forward, if it's going to be connected in a universe, like that was a really connected universe. Like a lot of that stuff tied in. How do you kind of see what they did in the past and kind of with all the characters they introduce now, how that could work, especially being like a Dr. Fate prequel, sequel kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, before I was a big DC head, like, bro, the CW used to run it, bro. Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, those were like the core. And not all of them were great, but you had the intercontinuity or connectivity that Marvel was trying to work on. And I was like, okay, bro, I'm getting all these characters that I love seeing together. Nowadays, for me personally, it has not aged well. It's very corny. Like, I'm actually trying to go back and finish all of it just for the sake of having it finished. And I'm like, bro, how did I think this was good content? But from that standpoint, a movie like this, where you introduce 4 or 5 characters, brand new, you pull apart, hey, let's get Atom Smasher backstory, HBO Max miniseries, 3-4 episodes, explain his was that his grandfather? Who did he take the suit from? Was that a grandfather or father?
I think it was uncle.
Uncle. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, introduce the backstory with the uncle, because the uncle definitely had his time as the Atom Smasher. Do a little bit of character development there. Maybe Cyclone and her connection with somebody possibly like Red Tornado. Do the same thing for Dr. Fate, and you can start to build the universe out in these multi-series versus having to put a big budget for a brand new Dr. Fate movie, a brand new Atom Smasher movie, a brand new Hawkman movie. Like, dude, you introduce 5 characters in one movie and then you give all of them a show, depending on how great they are. Like a Hawkman show, especially explaining where he came from, and then all that like his ship, bro, that set piece in the ship was unreal, right? Like, give me a backstory about that technology. Give me a backstory about where he came from. And you could do that and flesh it out, I think, a lot better in a show now. So
100%. Now, the Justice Society of America, we touched on Dr. Fate. What do you guys think overall of their introduction and how much screen time that they got? Because again, the future could be crazy. I mean, you just heard it right there. They could potentially show up in a series or a movie or whatever it might be, and I would definitely be all eyes for that. I would love to see that. But this was Black Adam. That was the title of this movie. But the JSA had carved out a pretty decent chunk of it.
Mm-hmm.
For better or worse, how did the introduction of this group, not to be confused with the Justice League, how'd that feel for you guys?
I personally liked it. I just, at the same time, kind of wish that they were already established characters somewhere else. even hinted at, name dropped, something like that. Because you look at them becoming, who knows if the Justice League movie is even canon anymore? Either version. Is this the first incarnation? Did they call themselves the Justice League because of the Justice JSA? Like, it leaves a couple questions out there. And these guys talk to each other like as if superheroes have been a thing for years,
For sure.
for a real long time. And they know about Black Adam.
Yep.
Like, they were expecting this to happen. I don't know how that makes things any easier for people, because it leaves a lot of questions. And when you got a lot of questions and the movie isn't answering them, the studio isn't answering them, the next movie isn't going to answer them, it kind of just takes away a little bit from the satisfaction. Visually, they all look great. Performances, they were all great.
Mm-hmm.
But the character development and the stuff behind the characters that would make you care about them just that much more, to carry more weight, to like, imagine if we had already known Dr. Fate for a little bit, like even just as like a side character, that death would have hit even harder.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, yeah, I'm really happy that we got to see them. It was a great showcase. And in this movie, it just kind of worked because it was a bad guy movie. And you had to have good guys. You had to have good guys. Something. And they weren't fodder. They weren't just tossed to the side like they were nothing. Some of them a little bit, but not all of them.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, you kind of just have hollowed out versions of the characters. And now we got to fill in that empty space.
That was confusing. That was part of the confusing part for me. Is like when Hawkman was on his ship and he's talking to Waller, it's just like, yeah, they had a connection. They knew what was going on. Dr. Fate's been a part of the team. Like, they've all kind of know of each other. And then you get Atom Smasher and Cyclone who come in and they give like a quick snippet on like, oh, who did you assemble? Oh, I got so-and-so, super smart, this, and this. Oh, I got him, yeah, blah, 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 blah. All right, cool, got that. And then, okay, let's go. But that was kind of a miss for me. For as much as it was a hit that they were in the movie itself, the miss was, I'm like, I liked you guys so much. I'm like, well, what the heck? Like, I wish I would have seen you guys before this movie. I think it would have been just a little bit better, personally.
I guess the one tidbit is like, the Hawkman, when talking to Waller, talked like as if this team had been going on for a while. And he only has to work with someone that seemingly retired, Dr. Fate, and 2 newbies. Where's everybody else? If there was some stacked team that he had, what else did he have available to him? Maybe a little tease like on a board with all the different logos of who used to be in the JSA would have been a nice little touch. Just teasing whoever they can. But who knows if they're allowed to do stuff like that, because what's the plan? What's the plan? Are we allowed to drop like a Lantern logo? Was Guy Gardner a part of this JSA? Who knows?
Interesting. I mean, they went far enough to when they were in what's the kid's name?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, when he had all those posters?
Yeah, I mean, they purposely dropped.
Bro,
that bugged me to no end, because a lot of those stories are straight out from comic books that openly talk about these people's secret identities. Like, there were issues there that I recognized, that I've read, and I'm like, that's a little contradicting in a little bit. It's a very small nitpick. It really doesn't affect the movie in any way.
No,
it's just seeing that there kind of just hurt my head a little bit. As far as like, well, how does that exist in that world? Because somebody had to write that. So they just took a stab in the dark on who that person is. Is it the exact same story in that book? Who knows? But yeah, that was just my little brain working out there.
No. That I mean, those are small things, but they were big enough for me because it's going to bother me because they made me like these characters so much. I really like the JSA. I like what they were about. I love the visuals. Like Hawkman's like estate was insane. His plane was insane. I knew before going into it, like someone's like, "Oh, it's kind of like an X-Men."
The X-Mansion.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, Natalie's like, "Where's Professor X?"
I'm gonna be honest. I made a lot of Marvel comparisons. I'm so sorry. For anyone watching this, if you're like DC only, and you're like, why are these Marvel guys, or why is this Marvel guy talking about DC stuff? Like, I love super everything. I'm a hero and villain kind of guy, but I made so many Marvel comparisons, and I'm just like, that's a different story for a different day. But speaking of characters, I got to talk about it. The villain. Big thumbs down for me. I'm sorry. Big thumbs down. Sabak was a big miss. It was just it was a bad villain.
Malekith 2.0.
It was. I like the premise and I like the story. I just wish that essentially he got one shot at. Essentially he got one shot at by Black Adam. And I get it, he's super strong, I understand. I just don't like the way that they introduced him. I thought that was a flat part of the story. I wish they would have built that up a little bit more, especially with Kondak, and I just think that kind of fell flat. Even if they played him out in the backstory a little bit more, I had to throw it out there. I'm negative on Sabak.
So I agree, but I'm going to take it a step further. I didn't care about anyone that didn't have superpowers in this movie. Like, in the same vein that in Transformers, I don't care about the kids that are the humans. In the same vein that in Godzilla versus Kong, I don't care about the humans.
You don't want Megan Fox to start watching Bumblebee?
I'm good. I really didn't care for the family members, like the mom and the kid, the uncle, the guy that wanted the crown so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like they were in the way. It muddled the story. I get their purpose.
Yeah.
But they stuck around for too long for me. And that kid actor, I'm normally not that picky with kid actors because they're just getting into the game. But I've seen way better kid actors younger in other movies, and I just felt like he was just a little too corny with his delivery on a lot of things. With the rest of the tone of the movie being pretty serious, he stuck out to me, like, in not a good way. But that's just me personally.
They gave him a lot of freedom. On the flip side, it wasn't like, like in Thor, like the kids get captured, they're just use like his device here and there. Like, he kind of stuck around. But again, I don't know if you were on this. For me, I think they kept the mom and the kid in it to remind him of his family, and he wanted to protect and he couldn't protect. And then knowing that, fun fact, the guy who played his son, Harut, right? Was that his name?
Oh, the big one. That's
Yeah,
the guy who plays him in the show.
Yeah. I didn't know that until today.
Hey, they gotta make a Funko with him with just that, like the ancient version of him, where it's just the plate and he's got like the Kondakian attire. If they make a Funko like that, it's over.
They might. They should. I get it.
I did like that fit.
I like how they took The Rock's face and put him on that body.
No, bro.
You didn't like it?
Give me a side by side between him and skinny Steve Rogers, and let's see which one looks the most out of place, bro. Bro's like this.
Skinny Steve Rogers is one of the reasons that first Avengers movie just like, that's like one of the points that I take off, because I'm just like, it just doesn't look right. Like,
yeah. But dude, real quick, The Rock is like, he's almost like too massive, bro. Like the first scene where he comes out and you can see the dude's traps from the back. I was like, bro, nobody's stopping this guy.
If I got in it, it just looked like a bed sheet draped over my body. I tried to get into this dude. Just dragging on the floor. Dude, the lightning bolt would be like here and then just down to my kneecaps.
Bro's quads too, dude. Like the whole thing.
I wish he would have the cape a lot longer though.
Yeah.
Him like caped and not caped. I liked him caped better.
Oh yeah. Once you put the cape on, it was over.
I like both, but cape more, right? Especially at the end.
I almost wish he went like a battle damage kind of look. Which is a side note. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I need to see it again. What is it called? Ethereum? That energy source?
Yeah. Ethium?
Ethium?
Or no?
You guys know what I'm talking about, though.
That's like his kryptonite, I think, bro.
Yeah, but like
That
without
crown was made out of it.
right, which is why kind of when it comes back to the villain, like I thought that he would put a little more dent in him, and then be like, okay, well we're heroes. Let's do maybe like a little team up or something, and like, bam, perfect opportunity for someone to drop in, and be like, I'll handle this guy since you can't. Like I don't know, like they shot him once with it, and the guy fell out of the sky, and then he's fighting a villain who's literally from it, and we're good.
Yeah, but I think the actual crown was mostly for the sake of like summoning Sabak. Like it's not like Sabak's powers are from that mineral or element.
100%.
It was like you put the crown on, and then he is able to like kind of transcend into human form or demonic form or whatever. And I agree with you, bro. Like he was a weak villain, but for the sake of the story, I think why it didn't bother me was because he was really just supposed to be a means to an end for Black Panther or Black
WB.
for Black Adam to come in and just become a hero. You know what I'm saying? Like that was his moment for them to be like, we can't stop him, you can. And you know, it was just kind of like a throwaway character.
I get that though, but if I told you like, all right, what hurts? So if Lex Luthor was just like, I found kryptonite, but I'm gonna use it to transport to where Superman's at, and then I'm gonna leave it there. Or you could bring it with, and it's something that kills him. Like you literally just use it as a jump pad when it's the thing that humans are shooting him with, and he's like, "Oh, I had to get sewn up by somebody."
To be fair, that guy, not as smart as Lex Luthor, was pretty damn stupid. He probably thought that he was going to get way more powerful than even like Superman from that thing, and he was sorely mistaken.
I did want to say one thing. I think WB did have the right mindset going into picking a ultimate villain for for Black Adam to fight. I mean, they needed someone to look big, someone someone like a demon. Of course, they went with an actual demon. They had the right idea. But it did flop. But yeah, it did look visually good just because it was fire versus lightning. Visually, it looked great. But when you look at the actual demon, it looked kind of corny. It looked cheesy. So WB had the right mindset, but it did flop, like I said.
I think if they put up more of a fight and like we had an actual like back and forth, they could have salvaged a little bit left of that villain. Yeah. To the point where like, oh, he was able to get some good hits in. You know, at least we know he's strong. He's a worthy adversary in some light. Mm-hmm. But it was a one-sided fight. But you know, we're trying to change the hierarchy of power in the DC universe. So
this guy did not just say that. Wait, real quick, last thing to that point. As bad as a villain as Sabak was, you can't tell me that The Rock saying, "Tell him the Man in Black send you." That was the coldest line, bro. I've never felt. I was like, okay, this dude literally was like, he said, "Let me get that lineup, bro, dude." Like in terms of hype moments, I think this movie had like probably the most amount of number of hype moments I've had in a while. Like it felt like Avengers. I'm always angry, Bruce. I was about to say Bruce Wayne, bro. What am I on? I'm Bruce Banner punching the Leviathan. Like those moments, this movie had so many of those moments for me.
I agree. That was one of the most BA moments in all of like superhero movies in general. Like that was incredible. My jaw hit the floor. Like when he started tearing him and then he said his line, I was so happy.
Good amount of violence in it. We know that there were rumors beforehand that it was rated R and they scaled it back. Assumption here is from a blood standpoint. Because a lot of people got toasted in this movie. A lot of people got toasted in this movie. But do you think that they should have bumped it up and kind of pushed the envelope a little bit more and really went all in on that R rating? Oh, here you muted.
There you go. I think if they did, it would have made more of a statement to the audience. It would have got more people talking. It may have made a little more money, like from the weekend, because rated R superhero movies are near and far in between. You got Logan, you got Deadpool. Am I missing anything? Rated R superhero movies.
Watchmen.
Nah, you're just going to streaming after that.
Just Watchmen.
No, Watchmen.
But there's not many. So I think if Black Adam did go with that R rating, they would have definitely pushed that envelope, especially knowing that it's Dwayne Johnson. He is going to push everything he can. So I think it would have been good, and I would have went to go see it anyway. I loved Logan, and there was so much violence in that movie.
Yeah, I think if they would have gone the route of take all the music away, take all that extra, like, I'm sorry, I didn't need the Kanye song, but take power away and have it be just like you hear the ripping and the cracking and the bones, and it is just pure, like, 2 minutes of just wreckage.
I felt like he needed, for as like high up there as like how powerful and main character status The Rock brings to this character, he needed some type of theme like the Wonder Woman theme. Like when Wonder Woman pops up and that theme plays, it's on. Like that theme is goated. He needed something like that. I didn't need to hear Kanye. I mean, despite all his publicity out there right now,
Right.
I love Kanye's music. We're not going to talk about him, but his placement, the song in there, just absolutely did not work for me. That whole thing was just bizarre to me because it really didn't fit in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they couldn't use something like that in the movies, but this guy just figured out how to like tell villains, tell them the Man in Black sent you. Like he just figured out how to say some modern lines, and we're throwing modern music on him. For me, that was kind of weird. I didn't really feel like that meshed.
I was telling someone at work today, I feel like The Rock was like working out to that song at the time, and he was like, "You know what? You guys need to throw my workout playlist into this movie."
You know, 100%. He just shared his playlist on Spotify with whoever's the soundtrack, and he's like, "Do it, use it." They're like, "Rock, there's only one song on here." He's like, "Do it,
do it." Yeah.
What if he played his own song? It's about drive. It's about power.
I would have. You know what? I would have. If he would have done that, I probably would have. I would have just saluted him for that.
No, but to add to your thing real quick, I think it should have definitely been rated R. Like, bro, the one scene where he threw the guy, he's still holding on to his arm. I was like, oh my god, he did not just do this in the cave scene.
Yeah, but like a blood drop here, there, disintegration here, those types of things, like those little things that you see, of just like, I wanted to see a more savage version. That's probably the best way that I can say it. Although I wanted to see more savagery from him, not from a comedic aspect like a Deadpool. Because going back to that initial first scene when he comes out of the mountain and he's doing that, like, put the grenade in here, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Like, I would like a more like, I'm just gonna just run through all of you and I'm just gonna explode every single one of you because I can and I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna go save a cat out of a tree, but I'm gonna run through. I'm gonna A-train through everybody.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, bro, they could have went the boys route, just straight punching like holes in people's chests, dude.
Harry, you haven't seen The Boys, have you?
No.
I would be very curious to see what you think if you watched a couple episodes, even just the first episode. You get a taste of it.
8 minutes. 8 minutes is all you need.
It's on my watch list. Promise.
Because I think that's the next step. I really think that's the next step with this, and for DC to
I think
separate
DC needs
themselves.
to go rated R, and just like you were about to say, separate. You got to separate. You already have the competition. Disney, Marvel has that audience on lock. Regardless of what they do now in the future, they still got people going over there. If you want to clamor to a different audience and some of the people that have been wanting this type of stuff, right, for a while now, that have been complaining that this stuff's too kiddie, you got a market for that,
Yeah.
and you
And
got heroes that can capitalize on it. Go ahead.
And to that point, I love the first Man of Steel movie. I loved his suit, and this suit that he wore in Black Adam. It was more of a red, it was more of a blue, but I loved the Man of Steel suit. The blue wasn't as blue. It was more of a the blue was toned down and the red was toned down a bit. It was more realistic. I love that suit. That is my Superman suit. And I think one of you might have said it. The reason that it wasn't fully red and fully blue yet is because he wasn't fully Superman yet. But I can't help but think, I just love the suit, and it had it. I mean, it was a Superman suit, and it just looked more modern as a Superman suit. And if we're going for now, I don't think they would do a rated R Superman movie just because it's Superman. But if they were to go that route, if they were going to go a little darker, I would want that suit, just because a bright colored Superman suit, it just wouldn't fit for me. So.
Fair point. Fair point. I do feel like they've kind of touched on that. I think if they bring Superman back, oh wait, we got a mid-credit scene. Interesting. Harry, walk us through this. How many times have you watched this mid-credit scene?
Not 70 times.
Okay. Just 71 or 72.
Yeah.
So we get our resolution in the third act of Black Adam, and then we get our mid-credit scenes, which, by the way, I did not realize for whatever reason that they've been feeding us parts of that in the trailer this entire time. When he says send them all, and then I believe that there's a voiceover of Amanda Waller when she's talking to him through that drone, but it's layered over her white suit that she has when she's talking to Hawkman, but the dialogue doesn't match. Her dialogue is from the post-credit scene. I could be way off on that one. I don't think I am. I've seen some stuff on that, but essentially, no, Harry, take it away. Take it away. I need you to have this moment here.
So yeah, he pretty much said it. So Black Adam goes down, the stairs, and he eyes down Amanda Waller, and Amanda Waller says, if you don't want to stay in my prison, Kahndaq is going to be your prison now, and if you step 1 foot out of it, you will not live to regret it. And Black Adam says, there's no one on this planet that can stop me. And Amanda Waller says, I can send someone that is not from this planet. And Black Adam famously says, send them all. And then Black Adam, lightning strikes the drone that comes down first. He lightning strikes the drone that was in his wherever he was, and from the smoke, Superman comes through the smoke, and Superman says something like, Black Adam, let's talk, or something like that. So yeah, pretty intense scene for sure.
Give it a grade, baby. Give it a grade.
A grade. A+. No.
Ooh.
I would.
I thought you were serious.
No, yeah. I mean, it's close to an A+. I would have liked to. Okay, it's not an A+, but it is an A. The reason it's not an A+ is I really would have liked to see that black suit. I really wanted that, but you know, it's
in the archives.
Yeah, it's in the archives. WB has put it so far back in the archives, and we're just not going to touch that anymore. But yeah, it's an A plus. It's definitely a good thing, great thing. So,
or you didn't flash us. Wait. I cut you off. Flash the shirt real quick. I just noticed it. Let's do it.
Custom, baby. Jalapeno ink.
Go ahead, baby. Bro.
That's my plug for the night.
Baby, what's your grade?
Oh, I was giving it an S rank. You know, if y'all ever played Sonic, you gotta get that S rank. No, I was highly pleased because I'd already seen it before the movie came out on my phone because it was recorded in the theater. But there was just something about sitting in that theater in the Dolby Cinema AMC and getting to hear his voice with that surround sound speakers and HD quality and that big old red the red logo and all that. Like I was I was smiling. You couldn't get that grin off my face. It just makes me happy. It made me happy, and that's why I'm ultimately okay with The Rock being all gung ho about the DC universe and wanting what's best for the fans, and hopefully he takes us on the right path because I want to see Henry Cavill running around, flying around in that suit, doing Superman things, being heroic, being the beacon of hope that he is, and smile for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
I give it like a B, and that's mostly because the hype was there. That's a fact. Like when Henry Cavill pulled up, he had the little Jerry curl coming down and everything. So he showed up, right? I was hyped to see him again. Obviously, you know, one of the best castings I think in all of like superhero genre. But dude, I was like so confused, bro. Like really, when I left that theater, I was like, how does Amanda Waller have Superman on speed dial? And what kind of conversation does he want to have? Like, maybe I was just reading too much into it, and I didn't like just take it for what it was. It's them meeting each other. But I was like, it almost sounded to me like Superman was like, "Hey, we need to talk. We should team up." And I was like, bro, if you guys team up, who is coming? Who's coming, bro? If you guys team up, then what kind of franchise am I getting into, bro? Like if they were like, we need to team up because Omni-Man is coming, I'd be like, all right, then now we're talking about crossovers, bro.
Yeah.
I was literally like, if they team up, what's happening, bro? So I think I rank it a little lower just because I had so many questions coming out of that one specific post-credit scene.
That is a good point because the movie kind of just leaves you off with this idea that he righted his wrongs, and since he is a bad guy and he's the main character, for the most part, used to like the main character getting some sort of resolution and a solution to their problem, and for him it was being a hero to this place. So he's a hero to just that place, but that also means that he's a hero in general.
Yep.
Like, so it's just kind of a weird place to leave him off at because we don't know if any of that stuff from Hawkman sunk into him where he needs to hold back at least until he has no choice but to kill somebody. He ain't got no problem killing people, but he'll hold off to the last minute, maybe. I don't know.
So Elliot, I'm right there with you. It is a solid B, simply because Henry Cavill is back on screen, right? That alone for me was huge. One of my favorite characters. We talked about this last week. I think DC is head and shoulders above Marvel in terms of who they cast for which roles would they cast for. And Henry Cavill to me is Superman. Like they're just synonymous, just as much as Iron Man and Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. I can't see anyone else playing that role, right? But if I look at it from a future standpoint, I'm like, oh great, here's Superman. But then when I take a step back and I look at it from a movie standpoint, all those things that you guys just said kind of crop up, and I'm like, Amanda Waller, why would anyone listen to you? You now have Peacemaker listening to you, Suicide Squad. Like Idris Elba is just like, yeah, what's up? What do you want me to do? Now you have everyone, like all of these people are saying, Amanda Waller, like you're the one who's leading us. I don't know. That doesn't. Nothing against her. I just, whatever. It's not the Suicide. What is it? The X, some force or something else.
Task Force X.
Task Force X. Yeah. Sure, but exactly what you said, Otis. Why do I need these people on my team? And what is coming? This is what I say is the ultimate issue that DC will face. And once again, they stuck their foot in the mud. And they're kicking off the new era with literally the strongest person, if not the second strongest OP of OP characters. Where can you go here? The JSA couldn't even touch a villain that I think consensus is saying that he was just okay. He was a threat, but he just got ripped in half. No one else could touch him. You drop him in the Justice League movie, and him and Doomsday are probably best buds. And then just like, do you want to just take the both of them now or all three of them now? So for him to show up, yeah, it was cool. But at the same time, where do we go from here? It's just two OP characters looking into the abyss of the unknown. And you're hoping that who do they face? Are they going to face each other? I don't know why they would. And I think that's ultimately why I downgrade it. I think going into this, we were just like, oh my gosh, yes, we're finally getting Black Adam versus Superman. It's going to be a legitimate fight to the death kind of thing. Versus, do you want to race me around the world and see who's fastest? That's where I feel it is. Like they're going to call up Flash and just be like, hey man, race Saturday, 3 p.m., be there. Like I don't understand why they would be adversaries at Amanda Waller's call.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even understand why they were so, other than like the corrupted power. I don't understand their whole purpose of like, oh yeah, this guy came back out 5,000 years. We read it in a book once. We have to take him down now before it becomes a bigger issue with like his power exploding or whatever. Are they still worried about that? Did he not figure that out at the end of the movie? Like they let him be because they couldn't do anything to him. So
yeah,
that's where like some of the writing issues just start coming in for me, because we haven't gotten into the overall grade of the movie unless you guys did before I jumped in. But
no, that is coming at the end. Did you guys think that he was in Kahndaq, or did you think that he was off-world, off Earth? When we saw all the Black Adam, my boy Tef, when we saw the leaks and all those types of things for it, did you think when he was saying like, I'm the strongest on this planet, did you think he was somewhere else, or do you think he was on Earth?
I mean, I thought he was on Earth. His story, his origins from Earth,
right?
But when he says the hierarchy of power in the DC universe, bro, you don't know what's out there. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that he's not a strong OP character, but dude, nobody on Earth can hold a candle to this guy. Anybody who's going to want to try to take out Black Adam and Black Adam 2, it's got to be somebody from outer space. And I think somebody like Martian Manhunter could give him a run for his money. Play some mind games, boy.
Yeah, but what's the point? That's the thing is.
Oh, I know. There's no point.
I don't know any of these points of why would Black Adam be in conflict if it has nothing to do with Shazam, has nothing to do with Kahndaq, has nothing to do with the Wizard. That is my biggest question coming out of this movie.
Well, it could be. It could be. Black Adam, as a whole, as far as a movie standpoint, it could be a trilogy. So you got Black Adam 1, which is what we got. Black Adam 2 could be Superman and Black Adam teaming up, and then Black Adam 3 could be, maybe somewhere along the line in Black Adam 2, they team up, but something goes wrong at the very end, and Superman sees, Superman or Clark Kent is he's a good man's man, and he doesn't kill, he doesn't do none of that.
But he
But
did
Black
kill.
Adam, no. He had to,
killed Zod. Yeah, he had to.
but
In two Black Adams one. I'm gonna throw this out here. I know we've talked about what it means to be a hero. However, the hero of heroes has killed someone.
yes, but he had to protect the innocent.
Isn't that what Black Adam did?
N-
I mean, you can't get more innocent than a child. That's pretty innocent.
Touche, but that fair point.
That's where
Anyway.
that's where I get stuck at. But carry on.
But something goes wrong in Black Adam 2, and in Black Adam 3, that's when we get that Black Adam versus Superman, because Dwayne Johnson's been very vocal that he wants Black Adam versus Superman. But I don't know if it's going to be in, the next Black Adam movie, or if it's going to be a trilogy, if it's going to be in that third movie. Like we were saying, they teased is that they were going to be in the same movie. We don't know if they're going to be fighting each other. We don't know if they're going to be on the same team. We don't know none of that. All we know is that Dwayne Johnson has said what he wants. But he just may be trying to get hype around his next movie.
After all is said and done, I feel it's more lip service towards hyping than actual doing.
Yeah. It's all talk till the movie's out.
Yeah. Now, if they need to team up, I mean, let's just say that maybe they're a complete different universe. But again, I feel like there's so many roadblocks with anything that we throw out there. Oh, our Earth is, you have the Crisis on Infinite Earths. They're from a different one, whatever. We need to go stop someone else. Or we have our own convergence issue that's happening in there. For as much as they started something, it's cool. And we'll get to the grade of the movie. I'm not taking anything away from the movie, and I don't want to be overly critical of it. I'm not. But they didn't open a lot of doors with this movie. As many doors as I assumed that they would.
Right.
I think that they just kind of cracked the window a little bit, and they're just like, hey, we have more characters, we can show them to you. Just show up to the next movie, and maybe we'll have them in there. That's how I feel.
I think if because they did introduce, 4 characters, 4 solid characters. Well, 5 if you include Black Adam. So if they were to make a spin-off or another movie of number one, the JSA, what's left of them anyway, and I would even watch a spin-off of Atom Smasher. I would love that.
Yeah, Fabian, I'm curious about Atom Smasher. You said that was your biggest surprise. We didn't really touch on as much of that as I would have liked to.
He mostly just seemed like a lovable guy. Like he seemed like a very naive, new to the game, the newbie. Like we're getting to see the world through his eyes for the first time, like his reactions to everything. I thought the comedic timing for his mishaps landed for me, especially him and Hawkman when he would say, "You and me, you and me." that landed for me. It was just my kind of humor. I like him. I guess the one thing that I really didn't care for is they tried to lightly touch on him trying to get with Cyclone, like a little bit of romance. Like we don't need it. We don't need the romance. I don't got nothing against romance, but this ain't the time for romance. Like this, he just met this girl, and he's amazed by her, whatever. It wasn't like it's not as in your face as I'm making it out to be, but I
You
don't.
pick up on it. For sure.
It would have been fine if it was just strictly platonic and um, you just had them there together and that was it. They were coworkers and that's the end of it.
Okay.
So I just liked him. I thought he was a cool guy. I thought he portrayed him pretty well for a character that isn't really well known to a lot of people.
No, 100%. So with that, overall grades.
I'll start us off.
Okay.
And after this podcast, I will say I think my grade has dropped, like slightly. But what the basis of my grade was coming out of was just like sheer enjoyment. I think at the end of the day, walking out of that theater watching this movie, I was like, dude, that was an enjoyable movie in terms of, you know, it was action packed. For the sake of the origin story, I actually liked it. I thought they wrote it really well, and then just the characters, right? Like when you have that many characters, you can't really flesh them all out. So I appreciate it for what it was. I originally gave it like a 9 out of 10. After, you know, kind of hearing some more feedback and some of the actual mishaps of the movie, I'd say it'd probably be closer to like an 8.5, but still quite up there. Like I walked out of this the same way I walked out of the Batman with Robert Pattinson. I was like, dude, that is exactly what I wanted to see coming out of this movie.
I'd probably give it, you know, a 7 out of 10. But like I said, you know, if they continue the story of Black Adam and if they give us exactly what they think or what we think they're going to give us, I think that story, the continuation of the story, will make this first one good.
I went more in with like a letter grade in here, and just like on that gut feeling where it was. I'm rocking somewhere. It's just in between for me, where I'm like C minus to B minus or C plus to B minus. Sorry. Some of I really liked the stuff that I did like that stuff is phenomenal. Like the action, like the word I used to describe the movie was stylish, like stylistic or whatever. The movie had style. It had a look of its own. Nothing else really vibed the way that this did, especially with the action, the character interactions, and the way those characters were portrayed, and the way they spoke to each other and bounced off of each other. That all worked. The stuff that didn't work for me, unfortunately, just lingers with me. With like basically all the humans, all the non-super people. They served their purpose. They were there for what they needed to be there for, but they overstayed their welcome for me. They were just a bit too intertwined with what was going to happen towards the end of the movie. And I know for anyone that's listening that those two characters have a future. I just didn't feel like I care enough about their futures based on their performances here. They have a future where they're probably going to get superpowers just like Black Adam. Mm-hmm. But that isn't based on their performances here. I'm not too excited for them to get those. If they're not going to be recast and they're going to be the same people, I'm going to expect a lot out of them for the next time around. The music choices were odd to me. Some of the pacing in the beginning was just either breakneck speed or slowing or getting too slow. It was just like a weird mixture of the two. But overall, the overall theme of the story and the performances and everything, that's what really is what this movie's about for me and what makes it extremely enjoyable. That being said, even though I'm in the C plus, B minus range, I want them to keep making movies like this. Yeah. This is where I think they need to sit in, where it, technically speaking, with all the stuff in the background, who cares? Like that stuff is just gonna sit by on the side. You'll forget about it once you're enjoying yourself seeing these guys beating the hell out of each other. That is what we're in for, like the DC universe for. Yeah. There's great stories and all that, but ultimately we just want to see people be superheroes.
100%.
That's where their money is at. And if they never get a good critical score off Rotten Tomatoes with the positive reviews or whatever, but that audience score stays up, they need to stick to it. I just don't want to see that they see those critic scores and ignore the audience score, and
Right.
they're like, oh, well, looks like we made a Thor Ragnarok. We might as well give up now and reboot again and again and again. They need to stick with it. This is enjoyable. This is stuff that I want to keep seeing.
Yeah,
even if it's messy.
That's why I love Godzilla versus Kong so much. I love the MonsterVerse. It's just two big monsters going at it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what people want to see. And that's okay. It's okay to want to see that stuff. I want to see that stuff. I want to see more of this stylistic action. The way they did it was beautiful.
Yeah. And Godzilla versus Kong was absolutely beautiful. Like visually.
Yeah. The special effects really shined in that movie.
Yeah.
They definitely thrive in that aspect, for sure. For sure. I got to throw my grade out there, though. I got to go a tick below B-. I'm going to go C+ on this one. It was extremely enjoyable for me. I really, really liked it. I want to see a lot of the characters moving forward. I just think, this being Black Adam's movie, I can't let the JSA bump it up where when I think about them, that's when the movie feels really good to me, and where I'm like, okay, like we're getting somewhere, we're in the B range. I just think, from looking at it from a Black Adam standpoint, obviously you guys have heard everything that we've said. I just think this character poses another issue. I really enjoyed what I saw from The Rock. I think this is probably, what was the movie with him? It was on Netflix. Red
Notice.
Red Notice. I liked him in Red
Yes,
Notice.
sir. I'm a Hulk stan. I'm a Rock stan. Bro, I'm all over the place with this older looking guy. Bro. That's what happens when you literally just evolve into a boulder. You just.
If y'all ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's a character in there that is like mimicking The Rock, and he's called the Boulder. And they do like these like fighting matches in like a underground arena, and he talks like his like wrestling persona, and he's like, the Boulder will be whipping your butt. It's one of the funniest things with that show. But I didn't want to leave my little rating without talking about the Rock's performance. I like the Rock's performance. I thought he was very stoic. Did great. This will happen in the sequel because he's had a confidence issue in this movie, just a little bit in the new world that he's in. But I can't wait to see him become the cocky Rock. I want him to be cocky with his powers, to come off as I'm superior to you, like completely. So I know that side of him is there, completely there. I know that from the wrestling days. So I can't wait to see him like that. But
I thought we were going to see more of that mess. I really did. Coming into it, I thought for sure like Ego was going to be on full display.
I think it's good that we didn't. I think it's good that we didn't.
I agree. I was very pleasantly surprised that he kind of toned back slightly on that standpoint. I mean, he was very confident in like what he could do, but I would be curious to see him, kind of move. I think it would be. I think a great way that we can push him forward is if he does end up meeting Billy Batson, Shazam, and he's like, the fact that we share powers is disgusting to me. Like, I want Shazam to sicken him. Like, to be like, you have no business sitting in the same room as me. Like, the fact that we share a symbol, the fact that we share this, and we go that route, and you kind of get like a disgust. That would feel weird based on this character that we just saw in this movie, in my opinion, especially like a kid. I feel like he does have a soft spot, obviously, for kids. But go ahead. No,
so would you bill it as, so going with your theory, would you want to do that and Black Adam be like, hey, I'm going to kill you and all that, and then Shazam lose, or Billy Batson, but he lose, but then he goes to Superman and says, "Hey, I need your help." What do you think of that?
I don't know, man. I almost see it as like I almost see Black Adam as saying, "You don't deserve this power, and I will force you to give it up. You're not a true champion. I am a true champion. Superman is a true champion. That we have mutual respect. But the rest
Right.
of you guys, you can't hold a candlestick to us."
Yeah, but in that sense, what I was saying is Superman would then be defending
Yes.
Billy.
That's where I would say Superman is saying, "Hey, there's a place for everyone here."
Yeah.
Right? You can't pick and choose. But
Yeah.
you kind of play into that where he's like, well, no, he does not deserve this power. Just like kind of like his dynamic with him and Hawkman, where he's saying, let's look at it this way. He's like, oh, I mean, I'll do it, but I'm doing it my way. I feel like that is part of his way. I think it's just a timing thing. If too much time passes and he's acting like this, I kind of be like, why have you not like acclimated to the new world? That's just my take on it. But overall, again, I give it a C plus. I'll put a number on it. I'll give it a 79. I love what they explored with what it means to be a hero. I'm going through my Hero Academia rewatch right now. That is at the core of everything, what it means to be a true hero. Elias, we've gone back and talked about this. Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, that moment on the bridge saving the kid, like that is not Black Adam. It is definitely not Black Adam.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, that was probably my favorite part. That's what I continuously keep thinking about. What does it mean to be a hero? Would I say he is a hero? I'll put it in the sense. I'll say no. My final piece is I do not believe that he's a hero. However, I don't necessarily think he's a villain. But I don't like using anti-hero. I don't personally.
I would categorize him as a hero by circumstance. Like the only reason why he came through and was the hero of this story was because he was supposedly the only one that could defeat Sabbac. But would he willingly defeat him on his own accord? Probably not. Right? Like if he was just like, you know what, I'm so powerful that you guys literally mean nothing to me, like straight Omni-Man status. He's like, I'm gonna just go and live in some mountain and not worry about you guys. And then Sabbac goes and takes over the world. He'd be like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like it's like that responsibility aspect, right? Like you can have the power and just sit back and chill. And I don't think that he felt responsible for defeating Sabbac. It was just a matter of like, hey, they literally asked for my help, and I think this is my one opportunity to possibly do something good. But is it in my nature to do that? As of right now, no. I mean, wait, real quick, can we circle back to one thing?
Yeah.
And I don't want to take too much time. What did you guys think when he was in the prison? All of those bodies, all of those containers of prisoners that Amanda Waller had.
Yeah. So I actually have a theory on that. I saw a video that said Superman is actually not working for it, but is helping Amanda Waller get those prisoners.
Dude, she's stacked more than the Collector, bro. There was one of them that was like massive. I don't know. I was trying to see, like, obviously it was all blurry, and I'd have to try to see a breakdown of somebody saying, "Oh, Gorilla Grodd confirmed," which it's not. But
Mephisto.
I was looking at all. I was like, dude, she's got that collection going, bro. She's about to hit 300 Funkos right there.
How far back?
Hey, and she's an inbox collector too, bro. Look at that.
Did all the value. She kept all the value, never to be.
Bro, that PPG is going up for her. Crazy stuff.
I love that. It's a good point. Would you guys be upset if they never address any of these things?
Yes.
Any of these loose ends, they just kind of just move on.
Yeah, because I think we're so used to not everything, but most things being addressed with Marvel as legitimate fans. I think if they just ignore it, then it'll just not be a slap in the face, but it'll be like, okay, but what happened here? But just I think it'll just be like lazy writing, and just bad character or bad creative, which never mind.
They'll answer what was in those boxes after the third reboot.
I just need to, oh wow, the third reboot, bro. I just need to know, like, she could just say like one person. I don't need to know everybody who's in there, but she could just be like, oh, Bane got out. He was, there was a power outage when Black Adam escaped, and Bane happened to be one of the inmates that also escaped. Like, just something like that, bro. Something simple.
Take it further though. Take it further though, because for me, I need a good reason of why Superman would be willing to do that and store them. Beyond the fact of just that saving the Earth, if they add layers to that, Amanda Waller has to have something on him. I don't know what it would be. Maybe Lois is in one of those. Maybe she's just like, you're the only person who can do this, and she scooped her up in the middle of the night, and she's like, you want her back, but I know you're not going to compromise yourself and do anything. Or something. I don't know what it could be. I don't know what a piece of information. I'm not sure.
I'm not a expert on Brainiac, but could Brainiac be involved in some sort of way?
Maybe she knows where Supergirl is.
Harry, I don't know about Brainiac for this sake. I think it's too early for that. He's like a multi-movie level villain. I think he's kind of like a Thanos type character in my opinion, and I don't know if he has anything to worry about these Earth underlings. I mean, bro, Brainiac would just collect Earth itself and just put it in a bottle.
He collects Earth.
I wouldn't do that. Any final big theories or predictions?
I wanted to ask one question.
Go for it.
And we'll keep this short just because we got about 13 minutes. I saw an interview that The Rock did with just a random reporter or interviewer. I guess he said that he wanted Kevin Hart to be in the DCEU. So my question to you, Mr. Jalapeno, my question to you is, do you want Kevin Hart in the DCEU? And if so, fan cast, please.
Bro, I think Kevin Hart just has to be like attached at the hip when it comes to him and Black Adam, I guess. Him and The Rock. Dude's not serious. And to be quite honest, I think for the sake of a superhero movie, Kevin Hart's humor will be kind of cringy. I can't really think of a character that he would really fit a role. Now, this would be wild. If he could pull this off, that'd be something crazy. What if he was like Jon Stewart, Green Lantern? Greg, look at that guy.
Bro. Let him be Martian Manhunter. Just let him show him from shoulders up the whole time and then stand out.
Yes.
No, I'm trying to think of somebody who would just be flat out ridiculous that he could do. And I don't know. I don't think I have anybody, to be quite honest.
I feel like he'd be a good guy in the chair. I don't know for whom, but I do agree. If he's going to be in a movie, he's going to be with The Rock. So it's like, I don't know any other characters affiliated with or associated with Black Adam who would fit that kind of guy in the chair role to be like a comedic relief, like old boy who's supposed to die by electrocution.
That was one of the funniest lines, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
That was. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one. But I wouldn't. I'll put it this way: I would not be surprised if Kevin Hart showed up.
If the DCEU does well,
then no. He'll ruin a good thing then. No,
I know. No, you know what?
While it's fresh.
Yeah, now, yeah. Bro, give me him as Green Arrow. And just be like a complete scrub And then he's like, you know what? I can't do this. And then the real Oliver Queen comes through.
You know what? You know what? He would be a good Booster Gold.
Oh, Booster Gold would be decent. I didn't even think about that. That would have been a good one.
Because he's a loser in the future, and he goes to the past to seem like he's like all that, and he finds out that he's also not all that in the past either.
Okay.
Wait, hold
that
on.
would be fitting.
I'm looking at my collection right here. How fitting would it be if you got Black Adam and Black Lightning?
No way. Oh.
But I only say it because I have the CW Black Lightning. Bro's a scrub.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
dude needs to use a fork into an electrical outlet to get powered up. Like, he can't do anything.
I forgot Kevin Hart was Bat Hound in the Super Pets.
Oh yeah.
Does that count? There you go. There's your fan cast animated dog. Wow. Or maybe those a future fan cast. My bad. Baby, are you holding on any theories over there? You got 9 minutes.
I really like. There's so many that could be a possibility at this point because of how little planning they have. Like there is an open, like it's like trying to count the stars in the galaxy. But as far as where the rest of the DCU is going to go, I mean, they better, for their own benefit, recast Ezra Miller and make that Flashpoint movie the catalyst to do so. And it's a natural way to do it, and it's also a natural way to realign all these movies. It could still be in this little muddled mess that it is right now, where you're not sure where all this stuff connects or in any way. And you could still have this stuff premiering, and then you just mesh it all together real nice after Flashpoint. Whether that movie is good or not, it's going to have an important lasting effect to the status of the DC universe. And that makes it a movie to see. It's going to be important, and they better do the right stuff because this is their last chance.
Yeah, good, bad, or indifferent. It's going to be important.
Do you see him interacting with now seeing who the character is that was portrayed in this movie? Do you see him interacting with Aquaman, Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, even Flash, Ezra Miller? Like, do you see any of those interactions happening? Should they happen?
I think he said. Go ahead.
I feel like everybody but Ezra Miller. Like Ezra, just like I was one of the few that was on his side. I thought he was a good Flash. Then he goes and does all this stuff in public, and who's to say he's not going to do it again?
Yeah.
Past behavior is always indicative of future behavior.
Sure.
So they don't want to deal with that problem. It's like, I don't know why wrestling companies keep hiring Jeff Hardy, but that's the same problem you're going to keep having if you keep bringing him back.
Yeah. True story. Interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing him kind of step up to Jason Momoa. Just being like, who are you? Now that is, I feel like you could make an organic fight out of them. Superman's a tough sell right now for me. But those two,
Aquaman needs a little power creep. He did some good stuff in his solo movie, but I feel like he's still like he's the dude that was able to take on Batman and Superman simultaneously for a good chunk in the comics, and he damn near won. Like he won the round, but obviously Superman's getting back up pretty easy. So
yeah,
I need that type of power coming from him.
I think they can do it. I don't know. You guys got anything else before we sign off? I'm fresh out of questions. Kind of like after this conversation, though, I think it feels positive. The movie itself feels positive, and I think that's a win overall, and that's a good thing. The She-Hulk conversation and those kinds of things like that, like you can definitely feel it. Like there's just like left and a right on this, but this, I think it was good. I do. I think it was very enjoyable for me. I'd recommend it all day long. Like anyone who's asked me, like, "Oh, did you see Black Adam?" I'm like, "Yeah, go see it. definitely worth seeing in the theaters for sure.
There's
Definitely
more definite good than there is definite bad. You can
Yeah.
you can argue a little bit about what's bad about the movie,
Sure.
and that's personal preference.
Sure.
But I think there is undoubtable great things, undeniable great things in the movie.
I'll agree with that.
Yep, I agree.
I second.
Maybe third, fourth at this point. But no, listen, I appreciate each and every one of you jumping on. We're doing this every Sunday night. As it stands, this was a good one. This one went by pretty quickly. And again, that's just a testament to the movie and the work that they put in. Any superhero movie, I'm probably going to show up to and see at some point, somehow, some way. But this one was definitely worth it for me, and I hope that they move forward in the future and give us more. DC, we want more.
Yes.
That's it.
Stick
More
to the
is
plan. Stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan. Release movies instead of one a year.
Yeah.
Release movies, not release movie dates.
Yes. Actual movies, butts and chairs. But with that, appreciate everyone who's watching. Check us next Sunday, same time, same faces, hopefully with a couple more here as well. And Forging Theories live stream signing off. We'll see you next week.